pretty wild what you find on the internet. And this one actually comes thank you to the crack autists over at the Kiwi Farms who found this. So shout out to you guys there. But this is pretty interesting. Charles Stross is one of those like establishment guys who has a mid-list career. And so, he's worked with big authors. He's gotten awards and award nominations and done okay in sales. But he's not, that A-level author list. And so Tor Books has been publishing him for a long time. And you know what comes with Tor Books? It comes with crazy political rants because that's about all they do. If you're a white male, you better be doing that. Otherwise, you're not going to get published by Tor Books. It's been that way for the last couple of decades. So this is just like a snapshot of how unhinged the publishing industry is and just how little these people actually know about actual history. And so I kind of just decided to give a little primer lesson, just a little rebuttal to everything this guy said, talking about the Reconquista of Spain in 1492, which he describes as barbaric and horrible, and attempts to paint that as to what's going on in America with Donald Trump, which is weird because the Trump situation is very secular. It's not a Christian movement really whatsoever, and it just shows how unhinged these people are about Christianity in general, and that's exactly why they can't really tell books and stories that last the test of time, because the stuff that is out there, the really great fantasy and science fiction, C.S. Lewis, Tolkien, it all is rooted in truth. And if you can't tell the truth, you can't have a great story, really, at the end of the day. So that's what we're fighting back against here, guys. I'm glad you joined me. Find us here. Hit the like and subscribe button. Get on my newsletter so I don't lose you. Very important stuff right here. And if you like my thoughts on writing and the like, this is my Justified Saga of the Anno Templar. This is, I ported the Crusades to space, and it is about a crusader fighting against an evil empire of tyranny, which is, a allegory for Muslims. And that's exactly what the Crusades were. It was a good thing. And what was happening to rid the world of that Islamic caliphate was a good thing in general. And so this is where history's gotten things wrong, because basically the whole analysis of what these people really want to do is to paint white as bad, brown as good. And so they even port that over to religions, which is, of course, Christianity and Islam. And Islam has a horrible, horrible sort of past to it. Now, a lot of my analysis I got came from a book called The Myth of Andalusian Paradise, Muslims, Christians, and Jews under Islamic Rule in Medieval Spain. And there's been a myth that's been perpetuated in academia over the last 100 years, trying to paint this Muslim thing as a diverse paradise, as a because they want to, of course, make America into this diverse paradise. This is what they want Minnesota to be, for example, with the Somalis they import there. And clearly, it doesn't work. You could see just what happens in Minnesota. It's a disaster, and it didn't work then too. It's based on fabricated lies of academia these days. And this is a great book if you do want to get deep into this topic to find out what is actually said. So, Charles Stross writes a blog, and it is just it's really weird. The original blog is basically his real life updates, talking about different. We can scroll over. Talking about different releases, conventions, and health problems. And we don't wish any ill on Mr. Stross. We hope that his health problems get better, and of course, keep you in your prayers for that. Hope things are going well. But as the comments roll along, people start talking about Islam and the Islamic Golden Age, quote, that was brought about by them conquering Spain and North Africa and the like. And it's what? This is not what happened in history. And here's what he says about it, and this is where it is. The end of al-andalus was caused by a barbarian invasion from the north, the horrible Catholic Crusaders. So not only he's painting Catholicism as barbaric and Islam as this peaceful, artistic, wonderful thing. You should go back and live in al-Andalus, Charles, in those times, and just see how well the Sharia law treats you. I'm sure it's going to go great for you. Or just go to the Middle East now and check that out. And that's where this all stemmed from. Is that basically they wanted to do rant about Israel and Palestine and the like in the comments, the lefties there. And then it comes to this, like this complete revision history. Horrible Catholic crusaders. Now, the Reconquista of Spain was not horrible. It was liberation. It was the liberation of the Spanish people from this tyrannical rule, and it was tyrannical. The reason it worked is because the Spanish people there didn't want to live under the tyrannical rule. If they would have liked the Muslims and would have fought on behalf of the Muslims, then that wouldn't have happened. So it was not barbarians from the north. It was the Spanish people themselves who actually rebelled and reclaimed their land. That's why it's called the Reconquista, not the Conquista, right? And so that's what happened, and it resulted in a real golden age. If you look at what happened in Spain as soon as they kicked the Muslims out, the Spanish people built beautiful fleets, beautiful architecture, beautiful artistic works. They traveled the world. They frankly conquered the world, and then brought back this like really golden age of Spanish culture that lasted well into the 1800s until the communists kind of ruined things again. And so that's really what happened here. And of course, Franco staved that off for a bit, and Spain is in bad shape now because he died in the 70s, and then it just went downhill from there. So this is complete revisionist history right here. It didn't exist this way. And we're a little bit of a different YouTube channel here. I know not many are out there are like, oh, wait, we're going to talk about Spanish history? Yes, that's what we're going to do today. And look at this. They crushed Islamic culture in the Iberian Peninsula, exiled the Jews and the Moors. And that's a good thing, Charles. That's why Spain was made great and instituted a reign of terror. Now, there was not a reign of terror, and of course, the Spanish Inquisition. He's getting his history from Monty Python. No one expects the Inquisition, and not like reality, right? So the Inquisition was very, very limited, very, very small, and of course it was something that was built up really, really big as a like sort of like tool of propaganda against the church. It's like when they talk about witch burnings and they're like, you'd think every woman was under attack everywhere in America in the 1600s, and that was not the case, right? And so a lot of what the Spanish Inquisition did was good, and it actually rooted out subversive elements to the culture that were actually going to hurt Spanish culture, and that's the reason Spanish culture succeeded so long and worked very, very well after the Reconquista. And so all of this is completely fake, right? It lasted for centuries, burned books as well as bodies. Yes, this is their thought process. But really, Islam burned a lot of books. They burned a lot of bodies. If you were not part of their Sharia law, and they instituted Sharia law in al-andalus, it was real. And if you did not subscribe to that, you were treated brutally. This is all so fake and revisionist. And like I said, it's all because he wants to, in his mind, have this romanticized picture of brown people good, white people bad, right? And I don't understand why so many white male liberals ascribe to this. But it's really a mental disorder at this point. In addition to ushering in a dark age of repression and ignorance. Now, we're calling the whole Spanish Empire that was beautiful, and it created a lot of art, created a lot of culture, created a lot of trade, up the standard of living for millions across the globe. That's a dark ages of repression and ignorance? Yeah, right. The same totalitarian thugs sent to conquer South and Central America, which did a wonderful thing. Again, Central and South America became nicer because of the Spain. But when they brought Christendom down there, I mean, that is what really created a culture for Central and South America that's better than it would have been. Now, carrying plagues, this is a thing that, again, just because there were people from different areas, they can't help that. Nobody was intentionally carrying plagues or anything like that. And it was not 90% of the population. This is really ridiculous right here. So this guy's insane. But again, just because disease always going to spread when you have people who are from different regions who don't have immunities, interacting with one another. There's a reason the China virus came over here too. But you don't see him blaming the China virus on China because, can't do that, right? So you see just how this is a rules for thee, not for me sort of situation. Complete lies here. The die-off may have reduced global CO2 emissions so much that it triggered a little ice age. Wait, what? Climate change came because of the conquistadors? This guy's out of his mind. And then the 30 Years' War in Europe, the Wars of the Three Kingdoms and British Isles, and other famines and starvation further afield. Nor were the Spanish conquerors particularly good at managing what they stole. Okay. They managed an empire for, again, a lot of years until the British Armada kind of usurped them, and they got flat-footed because they were just a little bit overconfident at that level. That was really what happened. And so, yes, everything was really working very, very well for hundreds of years. And he acts like this is like something like inflation hit overnight, a pandemic. Like what's he's ascribing modernisms to the past that were not there at all. And it was not an utter tragedy all around. We have the modern world because of this. We have industrialization. We have the internet. We have the fact that Charles Stross can sell his books across the globe. All started with this. This was the building of culture coming from this point that would not have happened otherwise if it were not for these people innovating over the last 500 years like this. And so removing Islam so that white culture could flourish and so that science could flourish is the reason everything is so nice now. So you're welcome, Charles Stross. From a Spaniard, we did this for you. But he continues on this. The Mideast is a big place. It's not so big that it encompasses al-Andalus, or Iran. I like how he calls Spain and Portugal by its Islamic name as if it's supposed to be that way. Holy crap. Why not call it the Visigoth Empire or something? It's like, they love to do this kind of thing. All these countries have periods of collapse and enlightenment with various centuries, of course, and most of it came from, of course, Muslims just absolutely ravaging the countryside all the way around. If you look at the Middle East, it's because of Muslims ravaging the countryside. You can see exactly the result of what they have there at this point. So this is absolutely crazy. Then he goes up and he talks about this. This is a crazy thing, too. And it results in the USA's war on the Barbary Corsairs. Wait, what? The U.S. stepped in because we had a naval fleet at this juncture because, again, the Barbary pirates, and they were pirates, were going around looting, raping, and killing people all along the Mediterranean, and it needed to stop. And so to protect the people, the white people who were being harassed, the USA came in and made sure that wasn't happening anymore. It's like you can see just like how these people prey on their audiences being uninformed because it sounds kind of reasonable. If you think the USA is bad, well, yeah, I don't know anything about the Barbary Corsairs. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know anything about al-Andalus. Yeah, I mean, it must have been a paradise before the white people came in. This is meant for uneducated people, and that's exactly what he gets. And as he goes on, he keeps going crazier through here. He calls it theocratic radicals sweeping the area. What do you think an Islamic caliphate is, my friend? That is exactly what happened. It's not the Christendom that's theocratic radicals. In fact, Christianity brought in freedom, and maybe too much freedom, because we're too nice, is what it comes down to. Quite the opposite of Islam. This guy's never lived in an Islamic Sharia state very clearly, and he doesn't understand what he's saying whatsoever, and it's just so bizarre. Now look at this. We may now be seeing the endgame overtake the USA, Seven Mountain Dominionism, and Opus Dei, with a Catholic equivalent, holding balance of power in Trump's cabinet. So this is all about Donald Trump. He's triggered that Donald Trump won an election, again, against people who stole an election, against people who were threatening people, against people who were trying to actually import Sharia law into the United States and into Europe by flooding it with mass immigrants that were going to just corrupt the cultures and destroy the cultures. It caused a lot of problems. It did cause a pandemic. It caused a lot of other things too. And this is a pushback against it. That's really a secular pushback. There's not really a lot of, I'd say, religiosity to the Trump administration. I wish there was. That'd be kind of cool. And unfortunately, this guy's just so unhinged. He's acting like there was this Muslim paradise that was removed before, and this is a similar thing which is happening with Trump now. And this is why these people can't write good stories. Like I said, this is who gets hired all the way. This is crazy. The Ottoman Middle East reminds me strongly of current California. Fairly wealthy, cosmopolitan, multi-ethnic, multi-belief. What? Again, they had Sharia law going on there. This was not the case here. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get into California, I guess the Islamic empires, they like to slave trade young children. Hollywood also likes to slave trade young children. I guess maybe you're onto something right there, that they are very similar. They like to indoctrinate people into their thing, otherwise they'll threaten them. And that's what the Hollywood elite does. If you're not indoctrinated into their leftism, they threaten you. They try to remove your jobs and things like that. So I guess you are drawing a good, valid comparison there, Charles Stross, just not in the way that you think you are. All right, so this is what Tor Books is all about. This is what the establishment of science fiction is all about. This is what we're fighting in the culture. You could see, again, they just prey on people not knowing enough about these periods in history because it's whitewashed. It is, I'd say, brownwashed, really. It's hidden. Unless you really dive deep into academia, you don't see this kind of thing very much. You don't see discussions of it. People don't know it beyond a paragraph or two in their history books, which is all about lies. And I do recommend reading this book. Very important stuff if you are interested in knowing your history, because you have to be able to rebut this stuff. And since nobody ever calls them out on it, that's how they get this going, and which is why we exist here, my friends, to call them out on it and to make sure that real history gets taught and that people learn from the mistakes of it. It's very, very important. This is something where trying to do something a little smarter with the channel than a lot of your average YouTubers out there, and I appreciate you being here. So hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment what you think about this, my friends. Make sure to check out my books. This is where I'm a science fiction writer doing the good work here. Blacklisted from mainstream publishing. Of course, Tor.com's never going to have anything like this on there. You're going to love this, though. I think you'll enjoy it. This is classic sci-fi at its finest. It's in the description below, available on ebook, print, and audio. It's a full book, 3-book trilogy if you'd like to check out the whole thing and support our channel. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll be back soon.